The following program was recorded at the Transportation, Marketing, and Sales Association's annual conference in San Diego. I'm pleased to welcome Managing Editor of SupplyChainBrain, Bob Bowman.
We're going to explore the relationship between public relations practitioners and editors and writers in the logistics and supply chain world. My guest today is Bill Fahrenwald, Executive Director of James Street Associates. Bill, welcome.
Thanks, Bob. Nice to be here.
So here we are on two different sides of the fence, but we work together all the time. What, in your opinion, is the dynamic? How should your people work with our people best?
The advice I often give to clients is think of someone such as yourself, the editor of a major trade publication, as standing in place of 40,000 of their customers. How would you, if you had the chance to speak to 40,000 of your customers, what would you do? What priority would you put on it, and how would you conduct yourself? Because you are the gatekeeper, and so we view you as a very important person.
We have common goals, though, don't we? I mean, there's a certain assumption of an adversarial relationship that, of course, really isn't there on a daily basis. But what do you think are some of our common goals?
Well, I think they are to educate that audience. At least that's my impression. You have a mission to bring information of value. They could be case studies, could be news, could be developments from the industry, trends. But whatever it is, whatever you present to your audience has to, as I heard it said today, help make their job go better, help them somehow do their job in a more effective way, probably to produce a more profitable operation. So if we can provide information to you, I believe that is fair, accurate, and digestible, then we've helped you bring that information to your readers. At least that's how we see it.
Well, we both want to get it right, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Although the two sides might have a slightly different definition of what's right. You're trying to bring a message to the marketplace, and it gets filtered through us, necessarily by what we consider to be editorial standards. But I think we can definitely find some common ground in that, as long as you understand the need for editorial integrity and we understand your need to get the message out.
Yeah, and we certainly do try to respect that, or we do respect it, because we understand that if you are not providing objective information to your audience that based on your best judgment of what the market's looking for, they aren't going to read what you're writing. And we want you to read what you're writing, and if you're writing about one of our clients, then all the better. So we do try to play fair and make sure that we're giving you information that is of legitimate value. It's really important, we know, not to just kind of shovel fluff at you, if you will. We want, of course, our client presented in the best possible light, but the best possible light is often from the client, from one of their customers who's had a good experience with them and can speak from an objective standpoint about the business challenges that our client helps out for them and how effective it was for them as a business solution. It's really not about our client when it comes right down to it. It's about your reader.
Yeah. Of course, it's not always a smooth process. What, in your opinion, sometimes gets in the way?
There's some practical things. I don't really often run into a truly adversarial problem, especially with an editor such as yourself. You understand the business and you are looking for, generally speaking, positive information to present to your audience. So we have at least a good common interest at that point. Probably it's more some practical issues that can get in the way. Deadlines could be one. Being able to bring to you quotable sources that you find to be credible, as opposed to perhaps our desire to just tell you something and hope that you'll repeat it, to your audience. So some of the mechanics of it, I think, are the challenges that we face, and a lot of it revolves around doing our homework, and that's probably the biggest challenge that we face, is working together with our clients to do the homework that's required so that we can bring you a package that you will find to be both useful and informative to your readers.
Now, we think of you as the point of access to the company that is your client. But sometimes a company that hires a PR agency will think quite differently. They will think of you as the wall between them and the press. So I wonder how, maybe you could give advice to your peers as to how you manage that relationship with a client, how you let them see it's important for them to see, to be with us, to talk to us, and at the same time how you protect their interests seems like a very delicate balance.
It can be, but I think if we prepare our client properly and we maintain an open and honest relationship with you, it usually works out pretty well. One thing that we think is really critical is honesty in our communications. So sometimes you might come to us with an issue or a question that you'd like to have us explore with our client, and for various reasons, it may be proprietary information on our client's part, it may be outside of their area of expertise, or it may just be something that they're under development with that they don't want to talk about. And usually we find if we're just honest with you about those facts and tell you, kind of what we can do and what we can't do, we find that you respect that. Yeah. And it leaves our client actually, I think, in a pretty good position with you for possible future opportunities because we've been upfront with you. So we really do work very carefully with clients up front to understand what are the areas that are in bounds and what are out of bounds. So we don't come to you, obviously, with an out of bounds opportunity right off the bat, to have a good understanding about what they're comfortable talking about and what they aren't, and then to work with you openly about those things. And if we run into a problem that's a bump in the road, just acknowledge it, and it's okay. We can't do everything, and I think I get the feeling that you will be understanding about that.
Well, we may not like being told no,
right?
But we like the upfront nature of it. We like you're telling us what the nature of the situation is instead of simply not returning our phone calls. So that's our priority. Yeah. What would you consider to be what we might term as sort of egregious no-nos from your standpoint in this relationship?
I believe that some egregious no-nos are, of course there's the world-famous no comment, which is often referred to as guilty as charged. So we really try to avoid that one as much as we can. Rather, we'd like to explain, if we can, why we're unable to talk about a particular issue, and usually there's a reasonable explanation for it. So we do want to avoid that. Certainly, we understand that you have a job as an editor to do that is much different than what your publisher needs to accomplish to legitimately make your publication a profitable entity. You are in the job of providing legitimate, objective information to your readers. Provided we can give that to you, we believe we have an honest chance of getting a hearing in front of you. Sometimes a client might feel, well, gee, I'm advertising quite a bit in this publication. Why can't we get some publicity there? And what we have to explain to them is, if we have good, legitimate information to provide to you, we have a real good chance of getting it. We won't need advertising leverage to make that case. And in fact, we will probably damage our case if we bring that to you because it makes us look unprofessional. So we really do try to avoid that, and we do respect the position that you have to maintain in that regard. Those are probably two of the no-nos that we really try to avoid when we're dealing business.
Now, getting the word out used to be a far simpler matter than it is now, with all the different channels of communication that are open, the ones that are coming on, the ones that seem to be dying, the ones that are holding steady. What from your standpoint, are the major channels in which you think you're getting your message out or should be getting your message out these days?
Well, it's really an exciting time because there are so many new channels available, and folks such as yourself have done a lot of work to open those channels to us. So really, we're really kind of the lucky recipients of all the efforts that you've had to go through over the last couple of years, or probably longer, reacting to and understanding and managing and developing strategies to reach the audience in different ways. So now, of course, we've got the traditional print, and then there's all kinds of electronic media. There's something like what we're doing right now today, video, blogs, webcasts, whatever. So fortunately, you're bringing that to us, and really our job, I believe, continues to be just to provide you with really valuable content. We are, of course, always seeking publication outlets that reach the correct audience. So we do take a look very carefully at what audience a particular publication or a group of publications is reaching. And just as you would with really placing advertising, we look to place our publicity in the most appropriate medium that's reaching the audience that we want. And then, like in the case of you, You give us now the luxury of with one kind of opportunity of potentially hitting many multiple channels. So we're really just in the business of trying to make sure we're feeding you with the information that you need so you can put it out to the appropriate channels.
The answer has to, whatever the answer is, it has to have something to do with the notion of multiple channels in the future.
Oh, without question.
Going forward.
Yeah, and everyone is, I think, quite aware of that. And our clients are, like us, we're very excited about the opportunities because we can reach so many more people. And then, of course, if we are able to have a successful electronic placement with you of some type, that's often an immediately measurable opportunity. We can see what kind of hits we get off of it, what comes back to maybe the client's website, maybe even what kind of sale develops as a result of that sort of hit. So that's certainly an improvement over the old days, but nevertheless, the print medium continues to be a very important part of the mix, and we certainly do focus on that, and there's a real value to that in terms of building awareness. So all those things are important now, and I don't think we view any of them as any more or less important than any other.
Well, the one certainty is we still need each other.
Yes, we do. Yes.
So thanks so much for sitting down with us, Bill, and talking a little bit about this relationship.
It's been my pleasure, Bob. Thanks so much.
I think we'll keep it.
All right, good. All right, great.
That was Bill Fahrenwald of James Street Associates. Thank you very much for watching.